We are live again today. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about taking the bull by the horns and about sometimes we can get into these patterns in life where we don't actually go after what we want. And until we make the decision to go after what we want, nothing in your life can change, nothing improves. You just stay stagnant and you will remain in this state of inertia. And inertia is not a great place to be in. It's something that leads a lot of us in our life to just keep floating through life, making the same routine, the same mistakes, the same things every single day. And if you feel like you're waking up in the morning and just going through the motions all of the time, you're probably in this state where nothing is changing. And we're here to learn. We're here to learn, we're here to have new experiences, we're here to have fun and to meet new people and to do new things. And I think a lot of people get trapped into this, this hamster wheel that we all live on. This hamster wheel where we're just focusing on the next thing, get up, go to work, come home, get up, go to work, come home. And I know for myself, when I get into this rut where it's this constant get up, go to work and go home stuff, I work from home, so that's not quite the same. But this whole thing where it's just the same thing over and over and over again, it's so exhausting because nothing ever changes, nothing gets better, nothing improves. We're just going around and around the same cycle. And so many of us really need to recognize that the only way that something changes is if something changes. That we have to make a change. We have to be brave at some point. We have to choose something different. And if you're doing the same thing over and over again, you're not going to get a different response. You're not going to get a different result than what you have previously had in your life. You have to, at some point, choose something that is different to what you are normally doing, what you typically do, to be able to step into a new way of life. And for some of us, that might be, choosing to move house. For some of that might be taking a new job on. It might be taking on a university opportunity. It might be going to college. It might be taking your GCSEs. It might be doing something. But we have to do something new in our lives, something fresh in our lives to bring in fresh energy, to change things in our lives. And there's a lot of us don't do that. A lot of us, what we do is we just kind of wait for life to come in and for life to change us and for life to do things for us. And it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Life doesn't come in and knock on the door and change things for you. You have to go out, you have to grab the bull by the horns, you have to grab life by the balls and decide that you want more, that you want to be more, that you want to do more. And for me, this started like I'd been working in a career for sort of 6 years, I think, to become a teacher. And at some point, I decided I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be a teacher anymore. I want to do something different with my life, something bigger with my life, something better with my life. And not because, being a teacher is not worth doing or anything, but for me, I had something different in my life that I wanted to do. And although I love teaching and I enjoy teaching, I found teaching was not quite what I wanted to do because of the constraints of the bureaucracy that kind of came with being a teacher. And then there was all of like the difficulty that came, or the stress that came with working in the public sector that just proceeded to get worse and worse as we moved through COVID. And I wanted to do something different. I wanted to be something different and I wanted to be different. And it's always really terrifying, when you begin to make these leaps into something new. It is always really frightening, but you don't get to have these big changes. You don't get to have these, new life stages without actually going after the something new. And for a lot of us, we're held back by fear. Fear of like, what if it goes wrong? What if I waste my money? What if I do something that isn't right for me and I just have to come back to where I was before? What if people laugh at me? All of these things that we kind of tell ourselves that could happen and might happen. And it's just the ego. It's your ego trying to keep you trapped and trying to keep you small, because being small is safe. Doing this thing that you've always done is safe. Your ego, your mind, your safety system inside of you knows that yesterday you didn't die. So just do what you did yesterday. But just because you didn't die yesterday, it doesn't mean that you were fulfilled. It doesn't mean that you were happy. It doesn't mean that you were living your best life. Like ultimately, your brain and your ego doesn't care if you're living your best life. What it cares about is, are you safe? And playing it small is safe. You know, playing it small is safe. But who wants to play it small? You know, you're here once in this incarnation, in this body. You're here once. So why are you not going after life and squeezing every drop of, you know, juice out of those lemons, as it were? And the answer of it is often fear. You know, fear of failure, fear that you're not going to, you know, put your mind forward to do the thing that you said that you were going to do, fear that somebody's going to laugh at you, or fear that people might judge you. But I don't think there's anything worse than, you know, living a life that's unfulfilled. You know, living a life where you get to the end of it and you suddenly think, oh God, I didn't actually do anything that I wanted to do. I didn't, you know, I didn't date the people I wanted to date. I didn't do the job that I wanted to do. I just worked doing this menial thing that was safe, you know, and it paid the bills, but it left me, you know, unable to actually go after what, you know, what I wanted in life, because I was too fearful, because I kept myself small. And I had this opportunity, like when I was teaching, you know, I felt like I was going in, and I literally felt like I was on fire, like going into the building. It was just like, I can't be here. This is just not right. And, you know, I think I said to you in last week's live, you know, the universe starts with a tap and ends with a slap. You know, it will give you these moments of like, yeah, this isn't right, stop doing it. And it will sometimes, you know, your higher self, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, will make the positions that you're in sometimes so insufferable that you have to make the move. You know, and often this is when we say that it's being done for you, not to you, because often when that happens, it's the universe trying to move you into a space of where you're supposed to be, you know, of doing the thing that you're supposed to do, so that you can go after the life that you want. And that includes making big jumps, that includes doing big, scary things, that includes doing the thing that scares the shit out of you. And if you're not, you know, it's that book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. You know, if you're not feeling scared on a daily basis about some of the decisions that you're making, then you're probably playing it too safe. You're probably playing it too small, you know? You don't have to be unsensible, but you definitely have to go after things that matter. And ultimately, things that matter bring fear with them, because, you know, it's that case of like, what if I don't get what I want? But what if you do? What if you do? What if it works out for you? What if you are about to go after the dream, you know, the job of your dreams? What if you start a business and you become a millionaire and you help millions of people? What if you start your YouTube channel and you're the next big sensation? What if you start your TikTok channel and you have millions of followers? What if you know, what if you create the next invention that literally cures cancer, cleans water, cleans, you know, plastic pollution? But we've all got this beautiful goal. We've all been made to create, you know, to do something. We've all got this great purpose that's inside of all of us. But so many of us are not doing it because we're frightened. We're frightened of looking like a fool, or making a mistake, or being a failure. And there is no such thing as failure, guys. There's steps towards success. The people who fail are the ones that give up. The people who really fail are the ones that never started in the first place. Those are the real failures in life. You know, people who say, oh, you know, I could have been something. I had a talent, but I had this thing, but, you know, but my mum said this and my dad said that and society said this and I was fearful and people laughed at me. And you know, it's these stories that we tell ourselves. Like, why does it matter so much what other people think of us? Particularly when it's the people who aren't doing anything with their lives. You know, the amount of people, the fact that, you know, I find I've had videos that have got like millions of views on them, you know, and thousands of comments. So they're not always positive, you know. But I find the people who are commenting negative stuff are the people who are literally doing fuck all with their life. You know, you go and have a look at their profiles and you're like, who is this? Who is this guy? They're either somebody who looks miserable, has nothing, you know, some old bloke that's just living on his own and is miserable looking, you know, or it's somebody that has like no facial, no profile picture, and they're just a bot or they're a troll. And it's like, happy people don't judge other people. Happy people who are fulfilled in their lives don't go around like beating on other people who are trying to achieve their dreams. Like me, when I see people trying to start their businesses or they're trying to do their stuff, I'm like, go do it, because it's so exciting to watch people try to go after their dreams. But there's some people on this planet, mostly the people who haven't done it, the people who have made themselves small, and they've become subservient to society, and they've just towed the line, and they've just done as they're told, and they've never taken a fucking chance in their fucking lives. Those are the people that have always got something to say when you're out and doing something big and doing something powerful. And ultimately, we don't want to listen to those people, guys. You don't want to listen to that person inside your head. What is it Joe Rogan calls it, like the little bitch boy that's always just like, we don't want to listen to that person. And we sure as fuck don't want to listen to the trolls online either, because that voice inside your head that's telling you that you're a failure, or that people are going to laugh at you or whatever, that's like your inner troll. I call this your inner demon. When I talk when I teach my clients about this stuff, you don't want to be listening to that part of you, because when you do, you don't go after the things that you want. You don't go over and ask the person out who you've been watching for months and you're absolutely just in awe of. You don't go over to the entrepreneur that you've just spotted who's doing the thing that you're doing and you want advice. You don't go over to the celebrity you've been following for months and you just happen to see them in Waitrose because you're scared that somebody's gonna, they're gonna turn around, they're gonna be mean to you, or they're gonna judge you or something about it. But like, imagine if we all just lived from this essence of love and excitement and joy for life, and instead of tearing each other down, we were all supporting each other. Imagine how exciting the world would be, and imagine how many of the greatest talents in the world would have been, would be going after the thing that they're actually capable of doing. Imagine how much of the world would be healed if, instead of putting people who were geniuses or super talented or wonderful into these banal, jobs that they don't want to do, but they're just doing because of money. Like, imagine what the world would be like if we all actually went after our dreams. If we all actually went after that thing that we're supposed to be doing. Like, I think the world would be a really beautiful, exciting place. And I really want other people to do that. It's why I encourage people that I work with, if it's something that's on their list of things that they want, to set up their businesses. And a lot of the people that I work with, they set up their side hustles and they do things that they want to do and they make money from it. And it feels so much better than selling your soul for money to do things that you don't want to do, So for me, when I quit teaching, it was just such a empowering moment. Fuck, it was terrifying. Of course it's fucking terrifying, saying, do you know what, I'm just going to be fully self-employed from now on. Of course those things go through your mind of like, where is my paycheck coming from? Can I actually budget? Like, I've got ADHD, for Christ's sake. Like, my my impulsivity and spending and money stuff, up until the age of about 32 was not good. So there was a lot of fear. That inner demon inside of me was telling me things like, you can't manage your money, you can't do this, you can't do that, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know, so there was all of that. But at some point you've just got to go, well, I'm gonna fucking try. I'm going to try, and nobody's going to stop me. And the only thing that will stop me is myself. And I've been, when did I quit teaching? 2017? No, it can't be that early. 2021. When was the pandemic? I don't know. So maybe about 2020, somewhere around there. I don't know. And I started my business in 2017. So, so I've been doing this for a while, but I quit my job and I went all in on my business, and I've been supporting myself the whole time. I don't get a paycheck at the end of the month like a typical salary. You just run your business and you do it and you learn as you go. And it's hard work, but it's exciting. And I'll tell you what, my life is so much better than the life I was living when I felt like I was on fire doing something that I didn't want to be doing every day. And I'm able to actually like look after my neurodiversity, so I'm not getting burnt out, or I'm not having a nervous breakdown every year, or putting on 30 pounds from September to December because I've lost all self-care and my stress levels are so high, So, and I just don't think I'm special. I don't think I'm special. I think any of us can do this. I mean, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am special, and maybe you aren't capable of this, but I don't want to believe that. I don't want to live in a world where I think that other people can't go after their dreams. I want to live in a world where you absolutely fucking can go after your dreams and you absolutely can achieve them if you just keep going. You know, I can, I do, I will, no matter what, no matter when, no matter how, I believe and I trust. I've got that written up there on my desk. I can, I do, I will, no matter what, no matter when, no matter how, I believe and I trust. You know, and I think if you live from life from that aspect, it's powerful. And there's nothing that can stop you. There's nothing that can stop you. You just keep going. And because you're living from your best self, no matter what it is that you're doing, you're changing other people's lives because you're showing them that they can do it too. So of course I work in it like a healing capacity for trauma and things and so forth. But you know, even if you were, you know, I've got a young woman that I work with that we got her set up doing her a little crochet business, you know, and it's like, are you healing people through crochet? Of course you fucking are. Of course you are. Because you're teaching people that it's okay to do the thing that you want to do, that you can go after your dreams and that you can put things in place and that you can, you know, you can do your thing. And that creativity can be paid for, that it's not just, you know, science, tech, engineering, maths and stuff that the Matrix wants that's important, because all of it's important, that you can be a creative, that you can do these things, that you can go after your passions. And I think the more of us that do that, the more that we create a world where that is okay for us to do, but it also creates bubbles of infrastructure for side hustles, for entrepreneurs, for people like you and me that don't really want to work in the Matrix doing the 9 to 5 and doing a job that we don't enjoy. And you know, if you want to do that, that's great. I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm saying that we, you know, the idea is that we do things that we want to be doing in our life. And if you love, you know, if you love your 9 to 5 job in the Matrix, then great. I'm happy for you. But it wasn't for me. And I know for a lot of my clients, it's not for them either. They're struggling. So, you know, have the vision enough to believe that you can, and that you can create a life of your dreams, because it all starts with the thought that you can and then the action that you take so that you do. And if you want some help with that, I do mindset, I do mentoring, and you know, you can come on some of my courses. We're launching Make ADHD Your Bitch for October, and if you'd like to join that, we're starting next week. I'd love to see you on board. You can come on to my brand new academy online and you can access all the lessons on there, as well as weekly lives with me and Q&A and hot seat coaching. And it's a really great 5-week program that allows you to kind of really get your procrastination and all of those sorts of things. Because, you know, as I said, stepping into being an entrepreneur, a lot of my ADHD stuff was worrisome about, am I going to be able to motivate myself? Am I going to be able to budget? Am I going to be procrastinating? Am I going to, so, you know, really Make ADHD Your Bitch was created as a result of me trying to get myself in track enough to keep my business afloat. So if I can, once again, if I can do it, guys, you can fucking do it. And Make ADHD Your Bitch is this really beautiful 5-week course that is really, really easy to digest. Life-changing. I've had a lot of women that have come through this, and they've all managed to make their lives hugely different in 4 weeks. It's amazing what you can change in 4 weeks with the right tools. So if you're interested, let me know. Hit me up. So leave a little comment below about Make ADHD Your Bitch, and I'll send you a DM with the details about that, by when we get started and how much it is to join, and so on and so forth. And yeah, just keep going after it, guys. Keep trying to fucking eat that frog, as they say. Because it's all life is about, and life is way too short to do shit that you don't want to do. So if you're doing shit that you don't want to do, stop fucking doing it and find that thing that you actually want to do and go after that. Like, your life depends on it, because it probably fucking does. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon.